Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gridiron Across the U.S. The regular season is all wrapped up now, and now we're moving on to the playoffs. We're going to start off with our locks and dogs from last week. So we went pretty good last week. We went 3-1 minus the little Dolphins fumbling issue. And we'll start off with my underdog was the Texans, and they went into Tennessee and beat them. I don't know why Tennessee was a favorite in this game to start out, but the starters for Houston played until what did you say, 16-6?
Yeah, it was about somewhere in the second quarter. I don't remember too specifically, but they played for a decent amount.
Yeah, since those starters played, they got out to an early lead and just beat the Titans. So I really felt confident in that one. And my lock was the Ravens against the Browns, and that one really hit. They won 35-10. Not much else to say there, except we all saw that big man INT, Bailey Zappi throwing it to all 350 pounds of Michael Pierce. He couldn't go all the way on that one, just didn't have enough oxygen in the tank. How about you tell us about your picks this week?
Yeah, so my dog did not hit. I picked the Dolphins and they lost 32 to 20. Just not a great performance from them with the season on the line. I think part of it had to do with the fact that the Broncos went up 24-0 on the Chiefs relatively early in the game, and I think they kind of gave up from there, knowing they were eliminated. Rodgers and Adams also had quite the game. I wouldn't say quite the game, but they did enough to win in what many are saying could be Rodgers' final game. Is it? We don't know quite yet. Some people say yes. I don't know, to be honest. And probably shouldn't have picked against him in what could be his last game, knowing he'd win. That one play where he threw it back to Devontae. Devontae threw it back to Rodgers. Rodgers threw it to Devontae, and Devontae got popped. That was a pretty funny play. I think that sums up the Jets season in a nutshell, especially in the beginning of the game. Like pregame when they were unraveling the giant Jets towel and it was upside down. I think that was, summary of the
How many
Jets in a
Jets?
pitch. So that was pretty great. I hate the Jets because they ruined our perfect 4-for-4 week. But I did hit my lock with the Bucks. They beat the Saints 27-19, which was a
Let's
little bit
go.
closer than it needed to be against the practice squad Saints, but they got it done, and that's all that matters. They won the game. It was close, and then you could see they really locked in, as so to say, towards the end of the game and secured the win.
They wanted Mike Evans to get that 1K yards, and they did it on the last play of the game. Got his 9 yards and got his $3 million contract bonus. And also, in typical Cowboys fashion, I saw that Cooper Rush could have made $500,000 if he played over 50% of snaps. So, what did the Cowboys do? They benched him. Not a very
Yeah,
good move right there.
the Jerry Jones special, as he's talking about his players' sizes. We'll leave it at that. Sure, some of you have seen that clip. We'll move on to our first discussion topic. Who did it better, Lamar Jackson or Bryce Young? We saw two very similar no look, well, not no look, but they threw it and then turned around because they knew it would be a touchdown throws. My opinion, I'm going Bryce Young. We
I'm
we
going with
glaze
Bryce Young
Bryce Young
too.
enough here, but Lamar is doing it against the 3-13 Browns. Ugh, when they're already up by like 20. Oh, you really got him there, Lamar. Whereas Bryce Young is doing this with the game on the line versus the Falcons in an electric matchup with the end of the season, in just a shootout. Bryce Young is electric. I'm calling it right now. Clip this. Put this on the TikTok. The Carolina Panthers will be making the playoffs next year. I'm calling it. That's my prediction for next year. We'll do a little hot takes post coming up. But I love the Panthers. Depending what they really do in the offseason, that'll definitely be important. But if they put the right pieces around Bryce Young and Dave Canales, I think they can definitely make a run in a notoriously weak NFC South and a fourth place schedule.
Yep, I agree with that. See, I'm a Saints fan. I hate the Falcons and I hate the Bucks, but if there's one team I do not hate and they don't hate us, it's the Panthers. Bryce Young is a franchise QB. Bryce Young will win MVP sometime in his career. And if the Panthers sweep the Saints next season, I will buy a Bryce Young jersey and I will wear it for a week straight at school. That's how confident I am that the Panthers will sweep the Saints. Because put it clear, I want a Bryce Young jersey. Who doesn't want him? I love that kid.
It's definitely bold. Hit up Brody Hyder for one.
Yep, a little bit. And we're going to move on to everyone's favorite wide receiver, the man with an entire NFL offense to his name, Tyreek Hill. He had some very, very poetic and wise words for the media, which was, I'm out, bruh. So, he really, really spoke his mind with that one. But what he wants to say is he's done with South Beach, and I could see why, but I just don't really like this move. Tyreek Hill, he's had some issues. He's got those criminal issues a little bit. He was arrested before the game. He's got all his stuff. He's an interesting guy. He just creates drama a little bit. But what do you think are some potential fits you could see him going to if Miami does deal him?
This is an odd situation. I really don't know. Like, I believe he's on track to make 30 something million dollars in cap hit, so not a lot of teams can take him. I would say the Steelers, but I'm not interested in paying 30-year-old Tyreek Hill that much money. If it happens, I'll be ecstatic, but I'm just not gonna get my hopes up anymore after the Brandon Ayuk and Devontae Adams
And Cooper
you
Cup.
know, yeah, and Cooper Cup dramas, but that wasn't as big. Um I can't really tell you. The Panthers? No. Um, it's definitely interesting. I don't see him like fitting anywhere, to be honest. It's bizarre. I feel bad, but I can't really give you one. But what I find interesting about this whole Tyreek Hill situation is the dude literally went up to the media. He goes, "I'm out. I'm not playing here anymore." And no one's talking about it. Like, this is a major thing, and I feel like no one's mentioning it. Whereas in past scenarios, like the Brandon Ayuk and Devontae Adams, much smaller things have happened that got blown out of proportion. So what's going on here? I guess it's because the playoffs are going on and they'll revisit it in the offseason stage. But I feel like it's very underreported, I guess. It's just not having light brought to it. And it's a rough week for Miami sports fans. Jimmy Butler, Tyreek Hill both want out. And Jalen Ramsey with a recent
Yeah.
post, he might want out as well. So that's definitely something to monitor. What do you think?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. It's I haven't seen too much about it. I got one notification which was his quote, "I'm out, bro," which doesn't not really too much to give us to, but I he's still under contract with Miami. He's got a ton of money. He's got to pay that child support somehow, and I just don't know where he could possibly go. Who's going to take on that cap hit? Because he's getting up there in age. He's still fast. He's still Tyreek Hill, but just not really too sure what's going on here and how it's going to end. Like he could easily stay in Miami, and we saw Jalen Ramsey too. Maybe it's just a locker room thing. I don't know, but it's an interesting situation, and I like you said, I think it's going to pick up a lot more in the offseason.
Yeah. And just going back to what you said about a locker room thing, I agree with that. I think Mike McDaniel being a younger coach, not gonna lie, he wouldn't be able to motivate me to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I can't imagine he's getting grown men who are some of them might I don't know Mike McDaniel's age, but they're pretty close to him in age. I can't imagine he's getting him hyped up to go play football. And I think he's definitely starting to lose the locker room, whether it's his fault or not with Tua being hurt. It's the wheels are falling off in Miami. Everyone thought they'd be Super Bowl contenders, but as soon as there's the slightest chill in the air, the Miami Dolphins fall apart as always. We'll move on here to something I noticed about the Bears and Packers game. The Bears with their first win against the Packers in what was it, eight
Since
years since
2018.
20, yeah, something like that. It's been a while. That's the moral of the story here. And it's really interesting to me. The Packers finished 11-6. One of those losses were from out of the division. The Packers finished the season with a 1-5 divisional record, which is not good for the Packers because you start to when you play against divisional teams, you start to see trends about which teams kind of own each other, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
If the Packers can't beat their division rivals, which they do play in one of the tougher divisions in football, their only win came against the Bears.
On
They
a
didn't take
blocked
a
field goal.
single they didn't take a single game against the Vikings and Lions. And like you said, they were a blocked field goal away from going 0-6 in the division. That's not good because if you even if you go 2-4, the best you can do in the season is 13-4, and that's if you beat everybody else, which is not going to happen realistically. It's just not. And they're not going to be able to compete for the 1 seed, not going to be able to win the division. I would be worried for the Packers if they can't figure that out against their teams. I don't know too much about the track record, not an NFC North connoisseur, but that's an interesting trend to point out. But congrats on the Bears for getting their first win against the I own you Packers.
Great job.
See if they can get some momentum going into next year with Caleb Williams. A lot of people had excitement for them before the season, kind of slimmed down a little bit, and they are not looking too hot.
Yeah, it kind of went all downhill after that Hail Mary. And like you said, first win since 2018. Good job, Bears. Can they do it next year? Not sure. I want to point out another thing with the Packers. Like you said, the 0-6, but they only had, I believe, one win over a team over 500 this season. Don't completely fact check me on that. But they played a pretty easy schedule. One of their teams was the Saints. That's a pretty easy win. But then they lost to the Eagles. I'm not too familiar with the Packers schedule. Not really a Packers fan, even though I live in Wisconsin. But I saw that they're not doing too good against above 500 teams. And going into that wild card against a really good Commanders team, I see them being first round exited. Unlike people in my town are saying that they're going to win the Super Bowl, which it's not going to happen, bro. Anyway, we're going to move on to another NFC North topic. Last night's Lions versus Vikings game. I believe the over under for this game was set at was it 56 or something? Do you remember that?
Um, Not too familiar with the betting trends. I kind of stopped paying attention to the regular season games. I was really only focused on the Steelers, and then once fantasy was over, I wasn't paying attention to the game. So I don't know the exact betting lines for it. But it was definitely projected to be a shootout as we projected as well. You want to get into those score predictions?
Yeah, so we had some score predictions that we posted on TikTok. We had a couple Vikings fans in the comments there. Shout out if you're watching, Billy Smith and Alex Calabroni. Hope I said your names right. But we had some Vikings fans in the comments that you guys were coming in a little confident into that one. And now you're staying even more confident, saying, see you guys in the next round. Let's give you guys a little plot twist here. We're not Lions fans. We are the farthest thing from Lions fans you guys are probably going to find. But back to the
Yeah,
score predictions. Were you saying something?
yeah. We'll post this clip on TikTok and we'll tag him. But we're not Lions fans. We're just sensible football ball knowers. And Nick Nelson, Vikes 30, Lions 28, Vikes win. Nobody special 100 dead orphan said the Lions will lose in the playoffs, so this game doesn't really matter. Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. I don't know what your point is. We're not Lions fans. Scott Newman said, I'll take the under. Good call from Scott. He knows ball.
Got knows
Scott Newman,
ball.
what a shout. Not holding Vikings under 30 from No Red 1006.
9 points.
9 points. Nice try. Alex Caliborn said, wrong again, Vikes 27-17. Wrong. And he said, see y'all in 2 weeks. And went on a little rant in the comments. Check it out. Follow TikTok if you haven't already. Todd T backed us up a little bit. And Billy Smith 5719 said, clown emoji, laughing emoji. I don't know. This has to be a burner account because Billy
Sup,
Smith, if
Billy?
you're out there, I would like to, you know what, Billy Smith, if you're out there listening to this, send us a DM. We're gonna get you on the podcast, Billy Smith,
We
and we're
want
gonna
Billy
talk
Smith on
football.
here.
Billy Smith on the podcast. So we proved a lot of people wrong. I took the Lions to win 34-28, and Dom correctly predicted the Lions score. He took the Lions 31-24. We thought it would be more of a shootout. I don't think many people predicted the low scoring game, but we both picked the winner and we're within 3 points of the correct score. So I would say that's a success.
I say we know ball. And Vikings fans, if you need a safe place to talk to once you guys lose to the Rams in the playoffs, our DMs are always open.
Yeah.
Want to get into your end of season mock draft now that it's up on Instagram. Mock draft Monday was yesterday. So go take a look at that. But Kevin's going to highlight some of his big picks from that. I'll let you take this.
Yeah, so like Dom said, it's up on Instagram. Make sure to follow. You'll be able to see everything a day early on there that we'll talk about on the podcast. We'll throw it up on here too as I go through. But some picks I'd like to highlight. My first overall pick, the Titans are on the clock, but I don't see the Titans making this pick. I have them trading back with the Giants. The Giants take Cam Ward from Miami, number one overall, because I think they're scared that the Browns are going to take Cam Ward. And, you look at a front office and Joe Shane, Brian Daboll, this is their last run. No one thought they'd be back this year. If they don't hit on something this year, it's over for them. So I think they take the chance, they go make a splash, go out with a bang, I guess, as GM and head coach duo. I have the Browns going Will Campbell, offensive tackle LSU, maybe a little higher than most people would expect, but I don't think this is the year the Browns go QB. I think they build the O line, and they know they're not competing with Deshaun Watson's contract
Mhm.
on the books. It's just not going to happen. You can't pay a guy with the pushback salary. I think it's close to 70 mil now. I'm not quite sure on that. You're not going to compete with that. You're not going to compete with a $70 million backup QB. So they're going to build the O line, and then I think they're going to take Drew Aller next year because Drew Aller grew up a lifelong Browns fan, and they're not going to let Big Ben happen again. If you don't know, Big Ben grew up in Ohio. Browns passed on him. He went to the Steelers, and the rest is history. So I think that's what I would do if I was the Browns for sure, and what they might do. At three, I have the Titans taking T.O. Terra McMillan, wide receiver, Arizona. A little bit early again, and over Travis Hunter, but we'll get to Travis Hunter later. I think the Titans skip QB here. They pass on QB because I believe Will Levis has the traits to be good. I'm
Mhm.
not saying he will be good, but you go and get a pure number one receiver when everyone knows the next year's quarterback class is going to be better anyway. Over an overrated guy like Shadur Sanders. I think McMillan is a very good receiver, and I think will help Will Levis a lot. Um, and I have at four the Patriots taking Will Johnson. So Travis Hunter's not the first corner off the board. I think the Patriots take Will Johnson, and we get to Travis Hunter here at five. Here's why I think he falls a little bit. He's not going to play receiver and corner in the NFL. And when you look at his actual talent, he's a
Mhm.
talented player, not gonna lie. And it could come down to fatigue from playing 100 and something snaps a game. But he was not the best corner in the nation and not the best receiver in the nation at either position. So, you're not going to take the sixth best corner in the nation, top five, top three. Um, I just don't see it happen, but I think the Jags take him. For some reason, Trent Baalke's still around. I heard the league is shocked by that information. I'll let you get some words in here as we're going through. What do you think so far of these picks?
Yeah, I like these picks. Wasn't with you when you made this mock draft, so I'm kind of hearing these for the first time now, but I agree with most of them. Like you said, Travis Hunter is not the best receiver or the best corner. I mean, he's pretty good at both, but somehow, some way, he won the nation's best defensive player and the Bolintikov. I think I said that one right that time. But yeah, he's not going to be. He shouldn't be a top three pick, and we've yet to see Shadur Sanders go, and Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter are being overhyped by the media big time. They're Dion's guys, so they're expecting them to be great. So some team might buy in on that hype. We'll get to your next pick, which I think I might know who this will be.
Yeah, so I have at six the Raiders taking Shadur Sanders. They told me bust down my AP, perfect timing. Um, you know, Shadur wants to go to the Raiders, and I think he's gonna pull some strings to make sure he goes there. Every time the Raiders lose, he tweets, "Thank you, God." So I think Raiders desperate for a QB. Apparently, Antonio Pierce is sticking around. So I think Shadur will be their guy. We'll skip a little. We won't go pick by pick for the entire first round. We'll go to pick 13. I have Malachi Starks to the Miami Dolphins.
I
I
like
think
that.
with aging Jordan Poyer next to Javon Holland, they take Starks to kind of solidify that secondary. You got Cater Kohu, Jalen Ramsey at corner, and to kind of help out that defense because we know what that offense can do. Granted, Tyreek Hill might be out this offseason, as we talked about earlier. If that happens, I could see them going receiver, but that hasn't happened yet. This is based on today and today only. So I have them taking Malachi Starks. To pick 15, I have the Falcons taking James Pierce, edge rusher from Tennessee. When you look at the Falcons, they've just been a team that has not been able to get any edge pressure
Never.
established or pressure at all. I think they've been last in sacks, even with Matt Judon. So
The
you
Legion
get a
of
guy like
Fire.
James Legion of Fire, as people on Twitter try to call it. They get James Pierce and they try to fix that problem. Next, I have the Broncos trading up to pick 16. Yeah, for Bo Nix or not Bo Nix, for for Luther Burden from Mizzou, wide receiver, to be Bo Nix's wide receiver
Bo
one.
Nix is coming back
That's
to
what
the
I meant to
draft.
say. Yeah. Um, and then we'll skip a little bit. I have Tyler Warren to the Bucks. They already have Cade Otton, but Cade Otton's not going to change games for you. Tyler Warren, 6'6" out of Penn State, he can do it all. He changes games for you. And I think when you let a guy like Liam Cohen and Baker Mayfield get a target like that to go with the rest of their offense, granted, Chris Godwin might be out this year after tearing his ACL, year
It's
season-ending injury,
something.
not too familiar. Um, so I think they go and try and get that middle of the field guy that Cade Otton really never amounted to be. And my final pick that I'll talk about is Benjamin Morrison to Green Bay. I'm hearing Jair Alexander has played his last snap as a Packer, as he's been placed on IR, and he's going to be let go this offseason. So I think Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame is a nice replacement to him. And if I did not mention your team's pick, make sure to go check out the Instagram for, if you want to argue with me or ask me why I thought something, I will be responding to comments. So, and that also helps me. I don't know everything about every team. I'm going to be completely honest, or every prospect. So, any feedback that you guys have definitely helps and will be taken into account for future mock drafts. So, make sure to go check out the Instagram where everything is posted a day before it is talked about on the podcast. That's all I've got.
All right. Now, do you want to go on a little bit of a ramble about that hat on your head?
Oh boy, the Canucks. If you're here for football, thank you for listening. The football talk is over. We're gonna be talking about the Vancouver Canucks now. It's not been great. I thought after that win against the Sharks, they were really gonna turn it around. As Miller and Pedersen got
Oh,
a
wow.
goal
The Sharks.
together.
What a team to beat.
It's been rough. Now Pedersen's on IR. Quinn Hughes is out. Although as of recording, they play the Montreal Canadiens right now, actually, and I'm missing the game. Um, as we're recording, great. And Quinn Hughes is a game time decision, so we're actually gonna see if he's playing right now. Actually, never mind. The game's at 7:30. We're good. Sorry about that, everybody. And so he's a game time decision. Quinn Hughes and Pedersen being out doesn't help. We're going on a little bit of skid. JT Miller looks to like he's gonna be traded. If you want me to post some Canuck stuff on the Instagram, let me know in the comments. That's all I've got.
All
I've
right.
talked way too much this episode.
This is a little bit of your ramble session. So we are going to be back on Thursday. We're going to be looking over that playoff bracket that we did not go over today because this was just our little recap to close out the season. We're going to be joined by two special guests to go over their playoff bracket as well. So stay tuned on Thursday. We're going to have our first four-person episode. And that's about all I got. Thank you guys for watching the episode as always. Make sure to follow our Instagram. It's going to be tagged right in the corner by Kevin's face right there. And make sure to stay on there. Like we said, everything gets posted there a day before that. And tagged over by my face is going to be the TikTok right here. If you feel like channeling your inner Billy Smith and coming to argue with us or giving
If
us
you
some
want to be
feedback,
exposed in the next episode, make sure to argue with us in the TikTok comments.
yeah, we will be exposing arguers. We will post about two times, one time a day. We'll always have some content on there. We're gonna tag right up there. We're gonna tag our Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. A little bit of posts on there too. Just trying to widen our social media presence. And with that, thank you guys for watching Gridiron Across the U.S. And we will see you on Thursday.